evening, everyone. My name is Megan Cerezo, and I'm the event specialist for the Office of Alumni Relations and Annual Giving. Thank you all for being here tonight. As my colleague Roseanne Santos, the Director of Alumni Engagement, always says, you can choose to spend an hour anywhere, and we are so glad that you chose to spend it with us. Without further ado, I am excited to present tonight's speaker, Sharon Leid, the CEO of NetStruck PR, publicity strategist, speaker, and author. Sharon has over 20 years of experience in public, community, and media relations. She received both her bachelor's in criminal justice and master's in public administration from John Jay. Sharon started her career in the city of New York, Kings County District Attorney's Office. She began as a community specialist and became the youngest African-American non-legal female to hold the Community Relations Bureau's executive director position. Upon departing the DA's office, she decided to start NetStruck PR LLC in 2015. Sharon's focus is to help entrepreneurs learn how to tell their stories, build their credibility, show their expertise, and expand their brand exposure through media, networking, speaking, and more. Sharon is also the founder of Ladies of Third Thursday, a monthly business networking organization that provides professional and personal development resources. Ladies of Third Thursday help entrepreneurs and businesses network, find resources to build their businesses, and create business relationships. In addition to PR work and Ladies of Third Thursday, Sharon does speaking engagements on the importance of having PR for your brand and why community engagement is beneficial to a business. She also speaks to college students who are aspiring to be entrepreneurs. Sharon is a wife to her business partner and high school sweetheart of over 25 years, a mother to 3 sons, and a passionate individual who loves to help others. Sharon, thank you so much. It is a pleasure to have you here today.
Thank you
and with
so
that,
much.
Thank you. We're so excited. And with that, I hand it off to you.
Thank you so much. I love just talking to my John Jay fellow students. I was there where you were, whether you're an undergrad or graduate, I did both. And, you fortunately have the option to do, online. I literally had to walk into the building. So I was doing full-time job, and I was just telling Megan earlier, when I graduated in 95 was my bachelor's year. That was a busy year. So was pregnant with our first child, got married, and bought a house, and graduated with with honors from John Jay, all in 1995. So, 1995 was a big year for me, but it was also exciting because that was my first step of my journey that I got, and John Jay was part of that. So I was really excited about that. So I'm here tonight to talk to you guys about the art of networking. And, when I talk about this topic, a lot of people, kind of like shy away from networking. And I tell them, you should not shy away from that. We network even when we don't know it's networking. And I say that because I started my networking, I want to say career, at John Jay. I belonged to a couple of clubs, and, my background, as you heard, I worked in the DA's office, but while I was in John Jay, I was interning at the DA's office. So I knew judges, I knew attorneys, prosecutors, police officers, you name it. I knew so many people within the criminal justice system. So to bring speakers on, guess what? I had to talk, I had to network, I had to, see exactly if that's something that they wanted to do. And that's how I began my network skills. I had to go out and provide speakers for our student body, based off of, whatever we were looking for. So if we wanted federal judges, well, I knew the federal courthouse was right down the block from the DA's office. So I would go down there and I would speak to, whichever judge was interested in talking to college students, at John Jay. And lo and behold, yeah, they did. Same thing with police officers, same thing with, the marshal's office. I mean, I brought pretty much anyone under the sun for criminal justice to come and speak to our student body. And that all developed at John Jay with me thinking about, okay, what is it that I need to do? And I'll be honest with you, networking was something I didn't even know I didn't even know that was the terminology. I just figured I'm going to go and I'm going to ask for what is needed and, provide some type of content to them and ask them, are you interested in doing this? Didn't even know it was networking. I didn't even know it was a thing. It was just, I just went off of instinct. So, not all of us are like that. And again, when I was little, I was shy. I would stay quiet. I would not talk. I would, be in a corner. I was a homebody. So for me to literally stand up here and part of my business is speaking, my husband calls me the social butterfly when we go out. But, that is part of my job. I have to speak. I have to network. I have to do the connections. I have to, offer services. That's why I decided to start Ladies of Third Thursday. So, networking is something that you should not be scared of, but you also should have it mastered. And mastering means practicing. So I'm going to jump right into my PowerPoint. Let me share the screen. Excuse me. So I just want to make sure that everybody can see the screen. Megan, can you let me know if you see it?
Yeah, I'll let you know. It's a little delayed,
Okay.
but I'll let you know once I see it. If not, hopefully we can. All right, looks like other people can see it. So yeah, move forward.
Okay, great. Okay,
it's just me.
Okay, all right. That's not good because you're actually going to be helping me out with this, but we're going to make this work. Please, if you cannot see it or if anything, just type it in the chat box and I will slow down. But I will be reading off of the PowerPoint so everybody would really get a good grasp. So I hope everybody can see it because my next screen is who is Sharon Devonish Leid. So as I mentioned in my bio, as my bio mentioned, I'm married to my high school sweetheart. We've been together 30 years, married 26 years this year. In the middle, you see my three sons. It's funny, somebody had reached out to me and they asked me, they were like, oh, I didn't know you had a daughter. And I was like, why would you say that? She was like, the picture you posted. I was like, that's me. So that's a little joke, but I was like, thank you. But that's our three sons. The little one that's that's right in front of me, that's our youngest, and the two oldest is 25 and 26. And, as you see the other picture, I'm a boss girl. As you see right here, my boss girl little plaque there. I do podcasting. I interview clients. I do a host of things. So yeah, I am a boss girl. So who is Sharon Devonish Leid? As Megan mentioned in my bio, I'm not going to go through everything, but I am proud to say that I am the first African-American youngest non-legal female to run a borough-wide event, borough-wide department in the Brooklyn District Attorney's Office. I was there for 18 years. And, again, I started out as an intern in the DA's office, going to school at John Jay. And I would have never thought, and again, I wanted to be an attorney. I wanted to be a prosecutor. So, that was the whole thing of me going to John Jay, because I said, I want to be a prosecutor. My mom worked in the DA's office. That's all I knew. So when I went there and then I saw all of the things that was going on, the different departments, I mean, I worked every single department in that office. So when I graduated, I was automatically put into a paralegal's position. I did paralegal's position for about maybe a year and a half, 2 years. And I was offered a position to work in the community engagement department. Now, the person that was running that department, I actually had him come to John Jay and speak while I was in school. So he already saw that part of me that I didn't see in myself. For him to say, I want you to work for me. I want you to go into the community and I need you to build the gap, close the gap between the DA's office and the community. And again, I had no clue what I was doing. He gave me a little guideline, and then I went out there and I worked it. I worked it so well that within a 5-year span, I was the administrative manager of the department. Then I became the executive director running the entire department, having a staff of 7. And I have to say that was the experience was amazing. because I not only did it for Brooklyn, the DA actually had me going out to Albany. So I was going to conferences with him. I was his go-to person where it came to community engagement. And I would never, ever forget that opportunity. But again, I would not have had that opportunity had I not been at John Jay. Graduated from John Jay in 95 and 07 with my with my master's. I started my agency, NetStruck PR, full public relations, community engagement, and media relations agency in 2015. Why did I do that? Because in 2013, I got laid off because the current DA that I was working for lost the election. The new DA came in, he saw that I was too close to the current DA that lost, and he let me go. So guess what? You figure the executive director for the DA's office, I knew community people like the back of my hand in my cell phone. They came to my kids' graduations, baby showers and so forth like that. You would think that someone would say, hey, Sharon, you know what? I know your skills. I want to hire you. They knew my skills. They tried to pick my brain, but they always came out to say, I can't afford you. And I was sick and tired of hearing that. So that's why I decided, let me take the skills that I have. Let me take the education that I have and start my own PR firm. And that's when I started NetStruck PR. I'm the co-founder of my husband's business, NetStruck Media, which is a full photography and videography business. And, I successfully worked with numerous entrepreneurs, small businesses, and celebrity clients. The celebrity clients usually falls in my lap. Like I'm doing one for LL Cool J in October, which I'm excited about because, he's being inducted into the Hall of Fame. And, ironically, out here in Queens, he was never honored in Queens. Now, he's done a lot of things in Queens. So I actually have a girlfriend that works in Def Jam, and she reached out to me. She said, hey, do you think that this might be a possibility? Absolutely. So when I mean the celebrities just fall in my lap, and that's all based off of networking. All based off of networking. I met this lady from Def Jam at another event, and we just started talking and, and we just kept in contact, built a relationship. I'm the founder of Ladies of Third Thursday, networking organization, and I'm the co-author to a best-selling book, Soaring Beyond the 9 to 5. Now, that's another conversation that what I can have about soaring beyond the 9 to 5, because when I was working for the city, I had my own side hustle. And that is, again, something that built my character to where I am now. So let's just jump right into this. What is networking? So from the Oxford Dictionary, the action or process of interacting with others to exchange information and develop professional or social contacts. Bottom line is you're building relationships. You are building relationships. You're not taking. You are communicating with individuals. You're listening to what they are talking about, and you are thinking in your head as you're listening to them, how can I help this person? How can I, with the contacts that I have, that I can help this person out, where it's not something where it's going to, really just, I don't want to, talk about in terms of, talking negative, but you kind of have that comfortable feeling of, I know this person is pretty good, that I can connect them to someone in my network. But you got to do your assessment. That's why it's always good to have the conversation. It's always good to have the conversation. It's always good to do your follow-up. You're building a relationship. You're not taking. So I want everybody to really understand that. A lot of people usually go to networking events, or they're talking to someone, a meeting was set up with them, and you figure that this is something that I'm actually going to, either get a job from immediately or get funding if you're looking for funding or anything to that extent. No, it's building a relationship so that person can trust you. And then you turn around and you'll be able to trust them and see exactly all the things that what they can do. You're probably looking at something that's right here, but they literally might have something that is so much broader that can help you, but you were just stuck here. So that's why it's good to always build a relationship when it comes to networking. Here's a fact that a lot of people do not know. 80% of people find opportunities through networking. So guess what? 80% of your time should be spent networking. And that's from one of the organizations called Crossroads Career. They did the research and saw that, how is it that you should not be networking? When you're networking, you're creating opportunities for yourself. So I wanted to really make that clear to everybody that, 80%, that's a large number. That's a very large number that people actually find opportunities through networking. And I'm one of them. I found so many great opportunities through networking that, like I said, Def Jam, I'm a go-to person for New York for them. When they want to do something on a community engagement part, I am their person that they call. LL Cool J needs to connect with the borough president. Guess what? That's what I'm doing. He's getting a citation and the key to Queens. But it's all based off of networking. So that 80% definitely is a strong number. And I'm hoping each and every one of you would start thinking about that and putting 80% of your time as you're doing everything else, because you can integrate it in networking as you're doing other things. But 80% of your time, you should be networking. Definitely should be networking. Why do you have to network? And I get this question from a lot of my clients because I include networking events with my PR clients. Why do they have to network? You're meeting new people. You're developing strong and long-lasting relationships. When they're finished, when our contract is finished, and we're doing and they've done networking events during our contract, those people that I have introduced them to, and that I told them that you have to put together and foster a relationship with them, after our contract, you should be creating partnerships. You should be, doing events together, building each other up. So it's very important to include that. It's very important to network. You're building your social portfolio. People want to know that, oh yeah, I can open up my my Rolodex. Yeah, of course, I know this person. Let me see how I can contact this person for you. So your social portfolio is important when it comes to networking. You're building it. You're developing people skills. If you are introvert, believe it or not, you can network as an introvert. I think I have a little portion of introvert in me, but I'm an extrovert. But I know a young lady, she's an introvert, and she literally does training to individuals, business individuals who are introverts, and show them how to network. But it builds up your people skills. It's so important. You cannot be somebody that's quiet and expects to get business. You got to open up your mouth. Opportunities to exchange ideas with others in or outside of your industry or career. How important is that? You have to start thinking outside of the box. So if you're not talking with other people, whether they're in your business or industry or outside, you'll be getting different ideas, different contact, getting creativity to make you build larger. That other person would be building larger. All of these things come into play, but it's creativity. It's a think box. So you're now connecting with other people that is within that's able to help you grow. Decision makers look to their networks for suggestions and referrals. I'm a prime example of that. Decision makers. I specifically, when I started my career at the DA's office, the person that I brought on to speak at John Jay when I was an intern, he remembered me when I came in there, and now I'm a full-time employee. And it was all through networking. He saw what I was capable of doing. He was a decision maker. He told me, come work for me. I want you to come work for me. That was a decision. That was all based off of networking. To be a resource, givers get. So when you go to a networking event or when you're networking, I said it in the beginning, it's so important to give. It's so important to give. And you're not giving something that's tangible. You're giving something that, as you're having the conversation, that's why it's really important to listen. You might be able to hear that, they're just looking to build their platform with exposure. You may know somebody that has a podcast that is looking for guests. So you're listening to what their industry, what their brand is all about. And like, what? I have an opportunity for you to be a guest on a friend of mine's podcast. That's giving. It's not taking anything away from you, but that person will feel so much appreciative of you just offering that. So when you give, you receive. Do it in a genuine way, though. Collaborations and partnerships. It is what it is at that point. When you network and you connect with people, you start seeing the possibilities of collaborating and growing. Partnerships. Media loves when when two businesses come together to be a greater business. So these are things, you can't get far by yourself. You can't. You have to network. You have to communicate with people. You have to bring on collaborations and partnerships. There's no way. All the successful entrepreneurs and businesses has a team. How did they create their team? They reached out to people. They communicated, they connected. So you can't do this by yourself to be a successful. And this is not only just for entrepreneurship. This is in career-wise. This is personal. This is for both professional and personal. We all need someone to just really connect with. So here's reasons why people do not network. And again, so I hear it all. This is just a little list, but I hear so much rejections on Sharon. I don't want to, I'm not doing it. I don't. One main one, I don't like people. Well, how are you in business and you don't like people? Something's wrong with that. So we got to change that mindset. Not looking to grow on a professional or personal level. They're literally just like, listen, I don't want to talk to nobody. I'm not looking to move up the ladder. I'm not looking to do anything. I just want to stay where I am, stay in my bubble, and that's it. They're looking to get instant results, opportunities, and they haven't gotten it when they try. You know why? Because they're looking for the instant result, and you don't get that when you're going to networking events. You don't get that on immediate or one-on-one the first time. You're not going to get that, because when people invest, they're going to need to trust you. They're going to need to know who you are. They're going to need to see, how are you as a business person? How are you working for a company? What is your ethics? Different things about yourself. They want to make sure they're not going to make a mistake. That's why it's building relationships. That's why it's learning about each other. Don't know where to go to meet people of interest. That's a big thing. A lot of people don't know where to go to, to networking events or anything like that. And I'm going to talk about different ways and how you can go and find different networking events. But that deters a lot of people, because they're like, I don't know where to go. How do I search for a networking event or anything to that extent? They're intimidated by going into a room of people they don't know. And again, that's that shy, compulsive that, people have. That is the, sorry, I have my dog here. She just jumped. That has, people that they get nervous in a room full of people that they don't know. So because they don't know them, they either don't go, or they attend and they stand in a corner, or they'll, go with a friend, and the friend just, them and the friend are just sitting there. Don't go to a networking event with a friend. You already know that person. And I know you guys have heard that over and over again. If you do go with a friend, you make it, listen, for the first hour, we're going to work the room, and then we come back, and then we could chill. Their expectations are extremely high, and the event is not what they thought. My suggestion to that, if you go to an event and you expected it to be, a 10, and, it's not a lot of people there, which I always look at quality, not quantity. But, some people look at quality, at quantity. But when I go to an event and, it kind of like falls by the wayside in the expectations of what I'm looking for, I always make it my business to find a silver lining in that event. Always. I don't know how I do it, I'll be honest with you, but there will be somebody in that room that I can, and my success in that is that I can connect somebody in that room to someone in my network that can help them. So that's the silver lining. It may not be for me directly. And again, that person is appreciative, because now they start thinking, well, me and Sharon doesn't really have a connection, but she just connected me with Donna, and Donna and I are now working well. Let me see if I can find somebody that I can connect with Sharon. And that's how it works. That's how it works. No networking goals are set. A lot of people like networking goals. Are you kidding me? What is that? Networking goals. You walk into, when you attend a networking event, have goals. Say to yourself, I'm going to connect with 4 people in this room that I can actually see that I can build a relationship or do a referral for. 4 people. Some people go larger. I always stay at 4 because it's manageable and you're actually having an engaging conversation with somebody within a nice time frame. So I always do 3 to 4 people that I walk out of a room with that I am exchanging information. Who do you network with? You see all of these different variety of ethnic groups and everybody, you network with people who are like-minded like you. So if you're in business, you're an entrepreneur, then you connect and you network with people who are in business, who's in business. If you're a career person, then you start networking with people who have a career path, who actually is working a 9 to 5, but they're moving up the ladder. So those are the type of things that you want to do. And not to say that that's it. You just don't, connect with somebody. If you're an entrepreneur, you don't connect with them because they are, they're in a career and you're an entrepreneur. No, that's not the case. They're like-minded. If they are looking to start their own business, then there is some synergy there. So don't feel that because they have a 9 to 5 that they're just stuck on the 9 to 5. They may have an entrepreneurial spirit. They just may not know how to do it, or they're looking to do it, or they're building on it, just like I did. So network with people who are like-minded, like you. So where do you go to network? These are just some options. It's a host of other things, but school, again, I was networking at John Jay like crazy. Work, I network, at work, church, restaurants. You're going out to dinner with somebody, you meet a waiter or someone to that extent, and you start talking. That's networking. You're learning about that person. The grocery store, you're online, and you might strike up a conversation because somebody did something crazy on another line, and then you start talking with the other person behind you or in front of you. Crazy enough, I've made some really good contacts on the grocery store line. In the movies. You're not supposed to talk when you're in the movies. However, again, there is some commonality there because we're watching the same movie. We may have, some type of similarity to it or whatever, and someone, pops up and say, oh, that happened to me. That's happened to me. And of course, social media. Social media is like the thing right now, especially what we're in right now with the pandemic. Networking is so huge. You literally can, Facebook has groups, LinkedIn has groups. If you guys do not have a LinkedIn page, you definitely need to get one because it's not only for business. Not only for employment, but it's also for business. So and it's a great networking tool, I got 2 interns from LinkedIn. So it's really a great networking tool. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. People are utilizing social media to their benefits in networking and meeting people. During the pandemic, my women's group is a local group. And, pre-COVID, we were a face-to-face event. Now I've kept it at virtual because guess what? I have women that became members they live in Africa, they live in Hawaii, they live in, Canada. It's global at this point right now. So why would I now go back to face where I'm literally just putting myself back in a bubble? I'm keeping it virtual, and I'll do probably face every so often. Like I told Rosanna, I definitely would love to do a Ladies of Third Thursday networking event at John Jay. So I'm just waiting until, we open back up. But again, social media should be your friend, and you have to use it wisely. So here are some do this in networking. Be polite, be friendly, make a powerful impression. Listen, that is the most important thing. Listen when you are talking to somebody. Have good eye contact. Offer your assistance if you can. Be prepared. So if someone asks, what do you do? Don't babble off or, say, oh, I'm in process of doing something different. No, be prepared. If you're going to talk about that, how you're in transition stage, explain, well, I'm in a transition stage right now. I work for a 9 to 5. I'm looking to go to another career. I'm looking to start my own business. Be prepared, be fluent in what you want done. Speak clear, be engaging, ask thoughtful questions. Follow up is so important. A lot of us, that falls by the wayside. We think because we got that connection, that's it. And then, it works through osmosis. No, it doesn't. You have to follow up. You have to keep communicating. You have to build a relationship. Now, a lot of people are doing virtual coffee chats. We're opening up a little bit. So yeah, we can go to a coffee shop and have coffee or whatever. Do a Zoom meet, but follow up is so important. And be consistent. Don't just, go to one networking event and then 3 months later, you go to another one. No, you always should be building on your network. Always. Make sure you're online. Make sure that your online footprint is updated. And why do I say that? And what does that mean? Your online footprint, meaning your description on all of your social media pages. If you're on LinkedIn, you should have updated. If you're a student, put on there, student, what your concentration is and what your goal is. Make sure it's updated. If you're a graduate, put that on there. If you, are working and you have, changing jobs, if you're doing whatever, make sure that everything is updated. Because guess what? People go straight to your social media pages. They don't just sit there and just, I have a business card or I have a telephone number or what. No. Employers go to social media. People that are looking to do business with you go to social media. They go there first before anything else. So make sure that your information is updated. So here is some don't do this. Now this one, and I have a video that I hope you guys would be able to listen to and see, because these are the things that really turn off a lot of people. Do not be arrogant and cocky. Do not talk too much. It's an exchange. It's definitely an exchange. If the other person is talking too much, and you feel that you're not getting an edgewise in, then obviously they're doing it wrong. However, I've had situations where the person was talking more than me because I was asking more questions, because I was interested in what they were doing. So you have to kind of assess the situation to make sure that you really know, okay, is this talking too much because they're full of themselves, or are they talking too much based off of my interest and I want more? Don't focus just on you. Bottom line. Again, unless they start asking you questions to talk more about yourself on the focus of you, other than that, you got to get a medium platform here where you both are having a back-to-back conversation. Don't focus on, not focused on the conversation. So in other words, you're having this conversation and then you rear off to something else, totally different from what the conversation is talking about. It means you're not listening, it means that you're not interested, and that turns somebody off completely. Don't ask for a favor. I've had journalists, I've had reporters, they're in the room, somebody wants to be interviewed, and guess what they do? They walk up to them and say, you know what, I would love to be on your show. You should have me on your show. And they look at them like, really? Are you serious? And every single journalist, reporter that I know, that has happened to them. And guess what? They never reach out to that person because they didn't even get content from them for them to ask or even think about saying, you know what, you'll be a good guest on my show. So don't ask for a favor. Do not give business cards out to everyone like it's a coupon. Please do not do that. First of all, it goes in the garbage because you're just giving it out. You're not having a conversation with them. They don't know if there's any connections with the two of you. Don't do that. Don't just give them out like that. Excuse me. Do not talk negative. Do not talk about others in a negative way. Do not use slang, inappropriate topics. Stay away from it. Stay away from it. If someone else brings it up, that's them. Stay away from it because you never know what rabbit hole that you'll fall into. Do not attend a networking event or a networking meeting or whatever unprepared. Remember what I said? Have a network goal. Have a network goal. Have goals. Have your pitch if you have a pitch. If you have business cards, a pamphlet or whatever, be prepared. Do not walk in there unprepared. Forcing a conversation. That is when you are talking with someone and there's silence, and then you're trying to, bring something else up. So you're forcing to have a conversation. If there's silence for more than a minute, there's no synergy. Be polite and excuse yourself. Don't force it. That person was not interested in you, and clearly you were not interested in them, or you were, but it just wasn't working. So move on. Please have eye contact. Do not speak to somebody and you're like this. Yeah, okay, no. They're gonna look at you like you're crazy. Have eye contact. Body posture is important. If you're assertive and you're confident, you'll look the part. If you're shy, don't know if you really want to be there, you had a bad day, it will show. So if that's the case, don't go. So there are ways to make your networking experience pleasant. Do your research on the event. If you see that there's an event popping up, and go to, there are different platforms. Like I said, Facebook has it, and all the social media has different events. Eventbrite, they're always having different events on Eventbrite. Check that out. Communicate with other people that does events, event planners. They all know about different networking events and things like that. So do your research on the event. Reach out to the coordinator before the event. So if you're walking into an event and you know nobody, well, guess what? You know the coordinator. You had a conversation with them before. And because you had that conversation before, if they are a true networker, like I am, I'm now thinking, who in that room can I connect that person to? Because first of all, I'm impressed that they reached out to me before the event. So that means they're serious. They're serious about when they're coming here, that they really want to make some strong connections. So I'm thinking in advance now, or even if that person is not going to be at the event, I'm going to connect them. Because one, I want them to come back. Two, I want them to see the value of my event. If it's visible on the event page, see who else is attending and reach out. I've had plenty of people see that I'm attending an event and they reach out to me. And then when we get to the event, we already have a connection. Eat something before the event. Now, why I say this, there may be food there, but you're not going there to eat. You're not going there to drink. You're going there to network. So let's say there is no food there, because I've been to networking events where there was no food. Now what? You're hungry and now you get cranky. Eat something before you go to a networking event. Arrive a little early, because if you arrive late, things have already started, especially if you reached out to the network, to the coordinator. I mean, you get off balance now. So arrive a little early before the event starts, get a feel of, the room, who's coming in, you might need to look for parking or something like that. You don't want to be flustered. So arrive early. And again, have your networking goals set. Once you have that set, you'll be fine. So I want you guys to listen to, I'm going to stop my screen, and I want you guys to listen to a video that I'm going to play. I'm going to share my screen again. Share. Okay, Megan, can you see it?
Sorry, I was muted. Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, great. And just let me know if you can hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great.
I can hear it too. Perfect.
Hello there, Roger Metcalf, How are you, Beryl?
Actually, it's Betty.
Yes, of course. Having a good time, are you?
Oh,
yes,
yes.
meeting lots of interesting people. I've spoken to dozens of people today, I can tell you, and given out lots of cards, in fact, yes. So tell me, Barbara, what do you do then?
Actually, it's Betty.
Yes. I'm a marketing executive, you know, working a lot with blue chip companies at the moment and making quite an impression in the States, I can tell you, yes.
Well, that sounds very interesting.
Yes,
So
it is.
I'm in marketing too.
Well, that's
You know,
marvellous,
I
Beryl. I'm sure my business could help you. Yes, in fact, we're helping so many businesses at the moment, you can't afford to miss out. Look, let me give you my card.
Oh.
Give me a call sometime, and I'm sure we can do business.
Actually, could I give you my card?
Oh, yes, of course. There, thank you. Yes, you know, if you're spending money on marketing, Beryl, then I'm your man.
Well, it sounds very interesting, this marketing. So tell me, what exactly is
That
it
guy
you
over
do?
there. Oh, a multi-million-pound player, I can tell you. Have to give him my card.
Nice meeting you too.
And that is what you do not do at a networking event. So if that's the end of my presentation. If anyone has any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. I hope you enjoyed and got some valuable information from the presentation. And, you know, like I said, I am an open book. I love doing these things. And like I said, you know, John Jay laid out the foundation for me to really network and really get myself out there. So, you know, I always have to give, you know, credit where credit is due to my John Jay background and my John Jay education.
No, thank you so much, Sharon. That was fantastic.
Thank you.
No, that was really great. And I think that, you know, so there were some questions that people submitted during the event and also ahead of time. So this one question that has just come up from one of our attendees is, how should you network as an undergraduate freshman?
Well, first of all, I was an undergrad when I was networking, and you have to know exactly what you're looking for. And once you really understand what you're looking for, then you start doing the research in terms of, so for instance, I wanted to go into law. I wanted to be a prosecutor. Fortunately, my mom worked in the DA's office, but that was something where I knew that because I wanted to be a prosecutor, I knew I needed to reach out to someone there. So I actually got a mentor that was actually in the DA's office, and she helped me. She's a judge now. And, you know, she's still my mentor, even though she's a judge and I'm not in the DA's office anymore, but she still gives me great advice, and she listens, and she's seeing me do all of my postings and everything. So she's seen me grow. So, you know, get a mentor and talk about exactly what you would like to do, and then go from there.
No, that's great. That's completely great. I totally agree. I think one of the things that we're always, one of the things that we do at Alumni Relations, we have a mentorship program. So we are currently in the process of putting alums, pairing alums and students. And we're always talking about that. Like, it's very important, in every walk of life, you're going to have definitely even multiple mentors from all sorts of industries that you're interested in. And so it's really important to have mentors to help you get a sense of where you want to go in the different phases of your life and your career. My other question is, what advice would you give to someone who needs help creating their elevator pitch? Because I know you mentioned the pitch, right, in your presentation, and then, the second piece of that is, what are the top 3 things that people should include? Typically an elevator pitch, you're in an elevator for like 30 seconds. So how can people, what advice can you give to people to kind of, bring it down to that 30 seconds?
So elevator pitches are crucial, but it's also tricky because depending on who that individual is. So let's say, for instance, prime example, here's my elevator pitch that I'll be honest with you, I don't know where this came out from. So I'm at an event with the DA, and one of the singers, Melba Moore, and also Susan Taylor, who is the former editor-in-chief for Essence Magazine, sat literally one on this side and one on this side. And, again, I'm in the DA's office. I do community events. I do heritage events. I do borough-wide events. And I'm always looking for that draw. So I'm saying to myself, I look up, I was like, Lord, did you just do this? Okay, how am I gonna figure this out? So I looked to Susan Taylor and I was like, Miss Taylor, I'm really impressed of the work that you're doing. She just launched her mentoring program. So I said, I'm really impressed in what you're doing with your mentoring program. I would love to have a conversation with you because I'm at the DA's office and we're looking to set up some mentoring programs for the youth that we deal with. That's coming, that has messed up in, that's going through the system. Automatically, she was like, I love it. Here's my card. I'm putting it in your hands. So I had to follow up with her. Went to Melba Moore. She's a singer. She's a big time gospel singer. So I said, Miss Moore, I love you. I've been following you. I love your voice. Would you mind? No, I didn't say that. I said, I love your voice. And, I actually am the executive director at the Brooklyn DA's office, and we do a lot of community events. And I would just love to invite you to just see exactly, what we're doing. We have a clergy event. I would love to invite you to it. She said, I would love to come. Can I sing? Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so you got to kind of have again, it goes back to what you want to get out. So you have to be real creative and you got to put in something that relates to them. So you see with Susan Taylor, it was mentoring. I already knew I needed to do something with mentoring. She was just launching her mentoring program, which means she needed a platform. She needed to speak with people. Melba Moore, she just launched her gospel. And I didn't even know that. I was just going off of because, I love how she sings. But I didn't even know that she had a new gospel album coming out. So that was two things that I was able to help them both with. And at the same time, they helped me. So you got to figure out in terms of, the moment, what are you actually offering and how is it can benefit? And is that person interested? You got to make sure that that person is interested too.
No, that's very true. No, thank you so much. That was really insightful. I think it's key, right? For people have to do their homework.
Yeah.
You got to know who you're talking to.
Yep.
And sometimes, like you said, your elevator pitch may be different. It may be different depending on who you're talking to. So sometimes depending on what we're trying to accomplish and get out of the conversation, we may have different elevator pitches in our like arsenal, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
Got to be creative.
Yeah, you got to be creative. That's just how it is. And, so you talked a little bit about body language, right? You mentioned eye contact. I know that, now, right, with the pandemic, we're in a very virtual age, right? Where now people are not always just going to networking events anymore. So do you have any advice for people who have difficulty networking online?
So first of all, you have to make sure that you're comfortable on camera. And I'll be honest with you, I was never comfortable on camera. I'm a publicist. I put clients in front of cameras. I am not the one to be in front of cameras. However, my coach told me I need to get out my way and I need to get better with that. So if you guys are following me on LinkedIn or Facebook or anything, you're going to see I'm on there a lot doing video. But for people that is shy in terms of getting online, doing these type of networking events, the ideal thing would be to, again, reach out to the coordinator of that networking event. Let them know, listen, I'm looking to, expand my network. I haven't done this. I'm very shy in terms of doing this, but I would like to attend your event. And they will literally make you feel comfortable. They will, introduce you to people. Again, if they're a true networker, they're going to say, you know what, I want to connect you with this person because you and this person actually would make a good connection. And then, they'll make it easy for you. So you got to you have to reach out on an individual basis for you to bring that anxiety down. And honestly, you just got to get out your way. You just got to get out your way and practice. Once you do your practicing, before I have like this whole camera set up, my coach told me set up a Facebook page, a private Facebook page. Don't invite anybody, so it's just me, and go live and see how I look. Because a lot of people also have that anxiety because they don't like how they look on camera. So that's another thing, or how they sound. So that's another thing which you will want to, get over with. And then just provide, just be assertive and be confident.
No, yeah, that's very true. I think, one of the other things that we're always talking about is, right, you can't look at yourself and you can't necessarily look at the person. You have to look at the camera, because that's the eye contact that we're
Right.
looking for, looking
Right.
dead at that camera, looking at that little green light
Mhm.
that comes out of my Mac. And, one of the other things that I have found really helpful is, with what's great about Zoom is you can record yourself. You can create
Yes.
a meeting and record yourself
Yes.
and just
Absolutely.
replay it and watch it and see how you get to see the mannerisms, you see how you seem. And that's another really great way for anyone who needs help. Again, like just networking online, try your elevator pitch and record yourself on Zoom.
Absolutely.
And just keep doing it until you feel really comfortable. Let me see. So one of the questions,
I don't
yes, and
but
your posture. Yes,
your
that
posture
matters.
plays a part, because when you're standing up straight, like
Mhm.
if you notice, I'm standing up. I'm not sitting down.
Yep,
Your
exactly.
voice is elevated. You have more
Yes.
confidence. I use my hands a lot, so these are things that
Yeah,
you would want to do that makes you feel comfortable, but makes you feel assertive,
exactly.
feel confident.
know,
Because again, it
and
will show. It will definitely show.
yeah, it will show. It will definitely show. And also, again, we always talk about this, but you got to keep that camera on, right? You have to at least like from the torso up, be ready to network,
Mhm.
right? Wear that blouse, wear that button down shirt or that polo, and just be ready, be ready to network. Have
Yes.
that camera on. If you're not necessarily in a space where you can just have your camera on, put up a background. That's what I do,
Mhm.
because no one wants to see what's behind me. And then one of the other questions that one of our attendees asked is, if someone's creating a business card, what do you suggest that they include on it?
So one, and this was my fault with my business card. Do I have it here? Do not make a business card that you cannot write on. So the glossy ones, although they look real pretty, you can't write on it. Do not put it in a color that you can't write on it. So my business cards, when I first started out, they were black, because my logo, my brand colors is black, silver, red. So my actual card is black. Well, guess what? When I went to my first networking event as the business owner with my new cards, and what a real serious networking person does, they write where I met you from on the card. They write, what the interest is, and put it in their business and put it in their pocket. They couldn't write that on my card. So I was like, oh my God, I have to get a whole bunch of new cards now. So just be mindful of the color of your card and the texture of your card. Make sure you could write on it. Another thing, what I found was really interesting is less is best. So, if you have a tagline, or, people should know what it is. So when you see NetStruck PR, it's a public relations agency. And then on the back, it has my name, my new one, it has my name, and it also has my picture on it. And then I have a couple of things that what I have on there, which would be topics that I know people are interested in. So it's media relations, community engagement, public relations. Those are the things that I have on there with all of my social media platforms and my contact information. And that's it. Some people have a little saying, or nobody's going to read it. I'm going to be honest with you. They're not going to read it. Some people are impressed because the picture is on it. Now, if you don't want to have your picture on it, because, we got creepy people out here, you don't have to put your picture on it, but have your social media contact information, all your platforms that you use on your card. Have your main services of what you have on it, and don't be too lengthy. about it, because when they look at your card, you want them to remember, oh, network marketing, oh, printing, oh, speaker, coach. You want them to know those things. And like I said, you have your name prominent on there.
Oh, that's great. That's wonderful advice. Thank you so much. So I think we have time for one more question. What is the best way to network if you're starting a new business?
Okay.
I thought that was a good question.
Yeah. So when you're starting a new business, you first need to know, who is your niche? Who is your target audience? Is your target audience businesses? So are you B2B or are you B2C, business customers? So that's what you need to know about first. Now that you know that and you understand that, the next thing is, okay, you start looking for events that are B2Bs or B2Cs. Again, it's so crucial for you to reach out to the coordinator. If you do not reach out to the coordinator and you walk into an event and you have no clue who's in the room, you might be at the wrong event. So do your research. It's critical, especially when you're going into new business, that you do your research. You have a new business, you do not want to walk in there and your whole time is wasted, because these are people in there that does not have anything to do with what your business is about, or, it's not your niche. They're not your target. Me, I particularly do B2B. So I need to find businesses. So I'm not going to go to an event where it's just straight customers. That's not my niche. So when I reach out to individuals, I'm like, who's in the room? My next thing is I ask, is there going to be media in there? Because again, that's another niche of mine. I need to connect with other media outlets, reporters, journalists, because that helps build my Rolodex for when I am actually, pitching to the media for my clients. So you have to know who your niche is. You should know who you're targeting, who you want to attract. So if it's business to business or business to B2C, business to customers.
No, that's great. Yeah, it's so true. I mean, your target audience, that's just what it is. That's just the whole formula. Knowing who you're trying to reach and then applying the different methods and strategies to reach them. Right.
Absolutely.
This was a great talk. Your presentation was fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here with us today, for taking the time. One of the things that we learned today, right, is that networking doesn't have to be scary.
No.
It doesn't have to be inauthentic. It has to be genuine. And it's something that, if you're not necessarily comfortable, it's something that you have to be intentional about and put to practice.
Right.
And like with anything else, with practice, we get better at it.
Absolutely.
Right. We feel more comfortable. And then all of a sudden, everyone's like, oh, well, how did you get so good at networking? It's really about practice, right? It's about being open-minded and putting yourself out there.
Absolutely.
So this is great. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Sharon, before I close out, do you have any final words for the audience?
So I just want to let you guys know that again, networking should not be a scared thing to do. You should embrace it. You're doing it even when you don't know you're doing it. So I want you to start thinking that way. If you're going into your own business, start thinking creativity. Start doing research, start doing all of those things that what I spoke about in terms of how you can find, ideal networking events, and be assertive, be bold, be confident. Those are the main things that impresses people. I do a webinar, a free webinar, and I turned it into a mastermind class, but it's called Putting Your Press Foot Forward. And, my girlfriend reached out to me. She said, Sharon, you made a mistake. You said it was supposed to say best. And I was like, no, press. Because again, I'm a publicist. So you have to put your press foot forward, which means you have to understand how to pitch. You have to understand how the media is looking, but you got to be confident about it. And that's the same thing where it comes to networking. You will connect with anybody who you want to connect with once you really understand how to network and build relationships. building relationships is truly, truly important in personal and in professional.
No, thank you. That was so well said. Sharon, thank you again for just being here tonight and educating our audience, our students, our alum. Wait, we might have one more question. Oh, yeah. Anyone who wants to access the recording, we'll definitely get that to you in a follow-up email. But as
I'm sorry,
yep.
Meg,
No, go ahead. Yeah.
They can, you can follow me on LinkedIn. It's my full name, Sharon Devonish Leid, and just send me a request. Just send me a message saying that you were at you're a John Jay student or alum, and you were at the presentation that I
Yes.
did. And, again, reach out to me and I'll be happy to connect with you and, answer any questions that you have.
And that's the first homework assignment, right?
Yeah.
To make sure we reach out to Sharon and start networking. If definitely something that we want to leave with today. So it will be up to anyone here to put that foot forward and reach out to her. And Sharon, you'll let me know how many people you hear from. How about
Absolutely.
that?
Yep.
Perfect.
I definitely will let you know.
And as we always say, our alumni, our John Jay alumni are so dynamic and brilliant. And it's always a great opportunity when we get a chance, to invite them to speak at our events. So for our audience, thank you again for spending the hour with us.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, no, please, thank you, and please check out. Alumni Relations we have a number of upcoming events. So I just dropped the link to the calendar in the chat. So please check them out. We have all kinds of events very similar to this. Some are more industry specific. So we also have events. We're also building a series on diversity, equity, and inclusion. So if anyone wants to attend any of those events, you can find them in the link that I just dropped in the chat. And with that being said, thank you all for being here tonight. And stay safe and be well.
Thank you, everybody. Take care.